Well, you guys see it from the banner below. I don't think I've ever seen this before, and that is that the Detroit Lions have placed safety, according to their Twitter, they have placed safety Ifeatu Melifonwu back on injured reserve. Now, this is a guy that was on IR. His 21-day window opened about 2 weeks ago. Dan Campbell said in his press conference yesterday that essentially the clock had been reset on Iffy because of a new injury, and he didn't say he was going to be placed back on IR, but here he is, a day less than 24 hours after coming off IR initially. I didn't even know you could do this. Now, the question that I have, and I would assume that it would be safe to assume that this is going to burn 2 elevations. I didn't even know. I don't think I've ever seen this, that a guy has been put on IR, immediately brought up, or well, the 21-day window open, but put on IR, 21-day window open, put back on the active roster, and put him back on IR. Now, the reason that they did this is because Iffy, based off that initial injured reserve time frame, they would have had to either A, put him up for the season, okay, or B, put him on the 53. Or put him on the 53 and then put him back on IR. I don't think I've ever seen that. Ever. That's insane. But what does this mean? This means that he again has to be out for a minimum of 4 weeks. Now we're going into week 12 for the Detroit Lions. They've already played 10 games. They have 7 remaining. So in best case scenario, if he comes back in a type of CJ Gardner-Johnson type run last year, when CJ Gardner-Johnson came back with the last 2 or 3 weeks remaining, and he's going to be able earliest to come back then. But then the Detroit Lions have the opportunity to open another 21-day window. And if he takes all 21 of those days, you're talking about we wouldn't see Iffy until the division round in the playoffs. That is absolutely insane. So now I'm kind of wondering, what are we going to do for the future when it comes to Iffy? Because Iffy is on the last year of his rookie deal. He was taken in the 3rd round of that 2021 NFL draft, the first draft with Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell. He was a 3rd round pick. He was actually a cornerback that converted to safety once he came in the league. I believe they drafted Iffy as a CB, but then he started playing safety when he came into the league. I wonder what they're going to do. If this was any other team, I would say that he wouldn't return or that the Detroit Lions would not try to offer him a new contract, but they have surprised me time and time again. Guys that have been injured, especially a guy like Iffy, who didn't really get to do anything in a contract year, they may bring him back. This is crazy. I don't think I've ever seen this. So help me out here. Off the top of my head, I don't know how many spots we have left, okay, because you have Broderick Martin and, okay, you got to stay with me here because it got complicated. Broderick Martin and Emmanuel Mosley were put on designated to return, IR, injured reserve, designated to return. And what that means is, if you don't know, if you are put on IR before the season begins, your season is over unless you are put to the designated to return spot. Every team has 2 of those. So in regular injured reserve, you have 8 per season. If you make the playoffs, you get an additional 2 spots. All right, so Broderick Martin, Emmanuel Mosley, designated to return. That's why their season wasn't over. John Kaminsky, his was different. They used the designated to return on those 2 guys. And if you remember, John Kaminsky made the 53. They immediately put him on injured reserve, so he's 1. Broderick Martin would be 2. No, I'm sorry. I keep messing that up. Broderick doesn't count. So John Kaminsky would be 1. So now let's look at, so put in the comment section, how many people have we to this point brought off of IR? If he is now 2, so that's 2. So that would mean we would have 6 spots left, but we are going to the playoffs. That is 100% the case. So we essentially will have at least, from my calculations, at least 8, but I feel like I'm missing someone. So let's take a look at the current injured reserve players who could come back for the Detroit Lions this year. Alex Anzalone, that's going to be 1. So let's assume we have 6 regular season. We're going to get those 2 for the playoffs. Alex Anzalone, that's 1. We know that Michael is done. Derek Barnes, that could be 2. John Kaminsky, that could be 3. Marcus Davenport's done for the season. Connor's done. Antoine Green's done. Aiden Hutchinson would be 4. Nate Lynn is done. Broderick Martin is designated to return. Iffy would be 5. And then we have Jalen Reeves-Maybin would be 6. So if the Detroit Lions have used at least 2 already, then that means that we'll have 6 spots for the regular season. If they've already burned more than 2, then we're going to have to dip into those playoffs. Now, you can't, if you make the playoffs, you can. So what I'm assuming is that once the playoffs begin, you could bring somebody back. That would be my assumption. And if the Detroit Lions keep this up and they get that bye week, then that'll be they won't have to play until the divisional round, which would be the dead middle of January. We're talking about like the 21st, somewhere around there, because the wild card round would be January. So if he placed back on IR 24 hours after being elevated or coming off, because the 21-day window, once that starts, you're still technically on IR. You're not off IR until they activate you back to the active roster. So that's why you saw Broderick Martin and things like that. I don't know. How did y'all miss that Jalen Reeves-Maybin is on IR? I make all these videos, like everything involving your Detroit Lions, I make the video. So watch the videos, man. Speaking of videos, the 25,000 subscriber giveaway video is out. You have until 4 o'clock on the 20th of November to comment on the video. I already have. Let me check right now. Last time I checked, it was 200 and something 200 and something comments. So if I go, let's see where we at. Check on this, click on that there. We currently have 314 comments. So we will not be using the spin wheel. That was the max amount of, and it's only been up for literally an hour and 15 minutes. So we're looking at probably getting 700 or 800 comments. We will be having to use the comment picker to make that video. Not sure I'll do that live anymore, but I will make a video of it, do it in real time. And the cool thing about the comment picker is you're going to be able to verify via a link that it was, if you have any skepticism or doubts that I rigged or anything like this, then you'll be able to check the authenticity of the selector. So it's super cool. Going to be using that from now on because the spin wheel was great. It was fun. It was intense, but it's just too many. And once we get, this will allow me also to keep doing giveaways, even though I get bigger, because this is insane. 314 comments. I'm going to show y'all. See that? 314 comments. That thumbnail is fire, by the way. Fire. So anyway, Ifeatu Melifonwu back on IR. But that tells you that the Detroit Lions value this guy's services. He was crucial down the stretch of last season, helping us seal. If you remember, he caught the pick on whatever the dude's name is from Minnesota, whatever the backup quarterback was, who was just an interception machine, threw the pick. And if he came out of nowhere, if he doesn't come up and make that play, Justin Jefferson catches a touchdown pass. He would have caught it like at the 1 or 2 yard line. And if he came and swiped that thing, he was a critical component in us sealing the division back in week 17 of last season. So that tells you that they want him to play this year. Otherwise, they would have just put him up for the year. But this also brings back another roster spot. So we'll see what happens with that. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Don't forget about the giveaway. This channel is brought to you by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. You could be anywhere else on YouTube, but you choose to rock with me. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions.